In this video, I'm going to share with you how to create real intimacy and connection with women. If you are a nice guy, a people pleaser, someone who is afraid of connecting with women, then this video is for you, and let's just jump right into the video. So the first thing that we need to understand when it comes to intimacy is that intimacy means and stands for into me you see. Intimacy is about letting someone into your life, your reality. It's about letting someone feel who you are. And for nice guys, people pleasers, people that are afraid of intimacy, these people, and I've been there myself. These are things that I've struggled with as a person. These challenges come when we first don't feel the intimate connection within ourselves. If we don't know how to be intimate with ourselves, then it's very difficult to be intimate with another, because the connection, there's a break in the connection. So when we have real intimacy, what we're really having is openness. We have openness with another person. We're letting someone into our life. We're letting someone feel us. And when we have fear, when we have doubts and worries and anxiety, then we're not truly allowing someone to feel us. And often we'll create defense mechanisms such as being in our head or flirting around intimacy, like not fully dropping in with another person, not fully looking into someone's eyes, not fully really being there with them. And because we live in a world that is so heady, and so many of us are just stuck in our minds and are not really embodied and somatically in our bodies, it makes it very difficult to create intimacy because there is a lack of presence. So the first thing that we need to create when we want to create intimacy is presence. Presence is sort of like meditation. It's about being here now, right? When we want to be intimate with somebody, we want to drop into the present moment with them. We want to be here now. We don't want to be in our heads thinking about what we need to do in an hour. We don't want to be thinking about what we should have done yesterday. We want to really drop into the now moment. So the way that we're able to drop into the now moment is to be aware of the breath. When we are embodied, when we're not living from our heads and when we're actually being in our bodies, then our breath is full, our breath is slow, and our breath is deep. And if you're able to maintain the depth of your breath, then you're able to better maintain the intimate connection with yourself and with other people. When you start to notice, maybe you're talking to a beautiful woman and you start to feel the triggers. Those triggers may come into your mind as doubts, as limiting beliefs, as worries, right? You might be thinking to yourself, oh man, like, does this woman like me? Is she gonna like me? Is she gonna think I'm weird? Is this gonna happen? Is that gonna happen? All of these hypothetical situations are not serving your intimate connections. They are actually anti-serving your intimate connections, and they're not actually real. So it's important to develop this sort of conscious presence practice through meditation, through your own spiritual practices, because they are going to be telltale signs of where you are operating from. Now, often when these little chattery, noisy thoughts come into our heads, they're not actually real and they're not actually who we really are. They're simply just patterns, right, that we've developed through our childhood trauma, through living through high school situations where we really wanted people to like us, hence the people pleasing, maybe in our childhood with our parents and some trauma there. But these things are really not serving us anymore. And as adults, as people that are developing and growing spiritually, it's about time that we start to shift those patterns and start to ignore the monkey mind and the mental chatter. And so through the practice of meditation, one is able to become more conscious of their thoughts, and one is to be able to become less identified with their thoughts, so that when those sketchy thoughts come, then we don't have to be as triggered by them. We can sort of let them come and pass and let them go. And through practice, eventually those thoughts just stop coming. We rewire our mind and we allow allow ourselves to transform into who we really are, which underneath that is intimacy, is connection, is love, because that is the baseline of the foundation of how we relate to other human beings. You know, we just live right now in this low touch, low connection society where intimacy is just sort of weird, right? People don't know how to be intimate because we're on our phones and our screens too much, and people don't know how to socialize in real life. But that's not really the default mode. I mean, the default mode is intimacy and connection and love. That's the way that it's supposed to be, and that's what we all truly want and desire. So the first step is to maintain presence and breath. Now, the second step to create real intimacy and connection is to make contact. The way you make contact is very simple. It's actually just through eye contact. You can tell where someone is at and what they're thinking about based upon where their eye contact is. Oftentimes when people are thinking, when they're in their head, they'll sort of look up. They'll either look to the left or the right, or if they're insecure, they'll start looking down. These are all subconscious somatic cues that are signifying that that individual is basically thinking. They're in their head and they're not fully there with you. This kind of stuff blocks intimacy because ultimately intimacy is not about thinking. It's not about being in your head. It's actually the opposite. It's about being in your body and connecting on a somatic level. So the practice that you can develop to create better intimacy and connection is by simply looking at somebody in their eyes. And so the way that you can do this is you can look at their left eye. So you look at their left eye and you stare into their left eye. Now, don't be a weirdo and staring into somebody's soul like you're criticizing them or trying to judge them or something, but you look into the left eye. The eyes are the gateways to the soul. And so you look somebody in the eye, and what I do is I just breathe in love. I breathe love into their eye. I see something and I ask myself, what is something that I can love about this person? What is something that I can appreciate about this person? And I just emanate this love. I look into their eyes. It's easy. I'm in my presence. I'm in my body. I'm not in my head overthinking. I'm looking them in the eyes, and we're creating a genuine connection. The next step from there, when it comes to making contact, is actually making physical contact. So physical contact is definitely the level up from energetic contact, but there are, that's a much more intimate level in the process that will come much further along. If you're just meeting someone for the first time, or you ran into somebody at Starbucks, you're probably not going to want to make physical contact because that might be a little premature. Now, if you have a great personality and the connection is there and there's an openness to make physical contact, then that is a beautiful thing. Physical contact doesn't have to be sexual and it doesn't have to be weird. But again, because we live in such a low touch, low connection, low intimacy society, people think that physical touch is like the weirdest thing and that we're going to get canceled. Physical touch doesn't have to be sexual. It can be as simple as, shaking hands with somebody. It can be as simple as, touching someone on the back of their hand, touching them on the shoulder. These are ways that we can create platonic intimacy and connection and really allow ourselves to have these beautiful connections, to have this beautiful intimacy with other people, and to ultimately get the emotional needs met for ourselves and for other people. You're really doing a service to the world and a service to other people by being embodied, by having this presence and allowing yourselves to have more intimate connections and create more intimacy, because ultimately every single person just wants to be seen, they just want to be heard, and they just want to be loved. So thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Thor. This is Thorganic. If you are new to the channel, smash the like button, subscribe, and click the links in the description down below. I am passionate about raising people's vibration, about the human journey, about transformation. And if you are a spiritual light worker watching this video right now, I'd love to help facilitate you in your life journey. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on the next video. Aloha. Namaste.